Hi, everyone, and welcome to today's exciting discussion. I'm Shalin Jerry, the social media manager here at Telebu Communications, and I'll be your host for today. It's not every day we delve into the mechanics that go into building a truly successful marketing team, but today we're in for a treat. Joining me on this call today is the key architect behind the success of Telebu's marketing team, actually. And I'm talking about none other than the VP of Marketing and HR at Telebu Communications, Nisha Parikh. Hi, Nisha.
Hi.
How are you
Hi, Shalin.
doing?
Doing very well, Shalin. Thank you so much for the wonderful introduction.
I tried my best. It's so lovely to have you on this call with us today.
Thank you.
And I look forward to, thank you so much for making the time, and I look forward to, learning so much about building successful marketing teams, right?
I hope I'm able to deliver everything well.
I know you will. So, Nisha, to start us off, you've had notable success in your career as the VP of Marketing at Telebu Communications. Could you please share with us some key milestones and how your career journey has been, maybe some lessons you've learned along the way to help anyone watching who would aspire to reach similar heights?
I think the most important factor in evaluating how strong the team is, in the kind of trust you have in each other. And I think that's something that we've been able to do very well at Telebu, to have that trust and to have that kind of bond that we share, even though, most of us have not met each other even once, ever in our lives, right?
That's true.
So I think the most important factor is definitely going to be the trust factor, how you trust your team. The way you build your team is, you ensure that they're given all the help that they require, and to have the faith that, okay, they can come back to you even if they've made a mistake. And we're all human, so mistakes are common, mistakes are acceptable, and mistakes should be made so that we learn better and we learn faster.
Yeah.
So I think that's kind of something which has worked for us here.
Oh, awesome. It is actually, because even we haven't met in real life, but I feel like I know you and I feel like I can talk to you anytime. Yeah. You mentioned that trust is one of the building blocks of a truly successful marketing team. But what else except trust? How do you build a successful team with the trust and everything?
Yeah, so not many know about this, but I'm not a marketing professional. I come from a background of psychology. My education has been in psychology, and I've literally grown up in the organization. So I understand the business, I understand our customer, I understand the path that we want to take. So I believe that hiring people who you can depend on, who you can, who know much more than you, who are experts in their domain, is very important, because as a leader also, I don't think you should shy away from the fact that there are people out there who are experts and you may not be an expert, but there are experts out there, and you should trust them that they will deliver what you have planned for the organization. So I think building in people who are experts in their domain is very, very critical. And listening to them and taking their advice is very critical.
Yeah, I hear you. So they're experts, but what qualities do you look for except expertise when hiring these new team members? How do you discern whether this expert is the right fit for my team?
Right.
Yeah.
The expert, you're right about it. Experts is actually maybe the second most important thing. But the first most important thing is, I think the person should be very compassionate. The person should be honest, and somewhere I feel that there is a quotient of empathy and compassion that has to be there. Even if you're not experts, you can learn through your way. But having these, how you be with your team, how you talk to the team, how you engage with people around you. Are you there for each other? That's very important as well. So I think that's something which I look for first before we, look at just the skill set.
All right. And what role do you think individual talent plays in creating a successful team? Is it more about nurturing talent or finding compatible members? Like you said, you weren't in marketing initially. So yeah, I'd love to hear your take on that.
Yeah, so I think finding the right people is very important. And when you said that, what about individual contributors, right? Is that what you said?
What is the role of individual talent in creating that successful team? Is it more about nurturing the talent or just finding someone who already has the talent?
No, I think nurturing talent is also very important, because not every time you will find the talent that you're looking for, but you will find the person who's really willing to put in to become that talent.
Yeah.
So I think nurturing talent is very, very important. And if you look at the history of Telebu also, most of us are homegrown. Yeah. We've come out of college and joined their company and learned through the years. So I think nurturing is very, very important.
I agree as one of the nurtured. And our next question, how do you balance the need for creative talent versus analytical skills within your team?
So tech has evolved so much, Sherlyn, that today a lot of analytics, data, understanding of what you're doing, how you're doing happens through a lot of logic already.
Yeah.
So I think creativity is something which is very much within the human capacity still, and not any AI tool or not any tech can bring in that at the moment.
Yeah.
Maybe in future it might, but I think creativity is also subject to a lot of how the person is, how the individual is, how the individual understands the organization, the culture, the customers and the products that we have. So I think creativity is more important.
And how do you, I'm just curious, I'm gonna dwell on that just a bit. When someone comes to you, a new team member hoping to join the team, how do you decipher who has more talent or who's more logical? Can you just tell from talking to someone?
So there are a few things that you understand in a person, right? When you're asking about, in a typical process, we have like a small test that you give, and they write, let's say if you're hiring for a content person, which we're currently doing, and then you say that, write this piece of content. So you understand through the language that how they've been either creative or they've been more analytical and written something. So I think when it comes to hiring, it's I don't know how to put it in words, but it's a kind of the conversation that will help you understand if it is more creative or more analytical, the person. But both are fine in a way. It's just that even an analytical person can have a very good personality and can be very empathetic, can be very can gel really well with the team. It's just that what kind of a person or what kind of a skill set is it that you want to adapt in that role is what you're looking for at the moment.
All right. Okay. Got it. And how do you foster a collaborative spirit within the marketing team as well as with the other departments for success?
Yeah. So I think that I learned through my nephews, because having kids around who are young, which is 7, 8 or 8, 9 and all, you kind of they have a lot of fights, either with within the brothers or within their brothers and sisters or with their friends and all. The most instant reaction is to go and solve and kind of help them resolve their fight. But I've started realizing that it's not my job to resolve their fights or to do something for them. It's for me to just understand what is going on, and if they need help, then they come to me. I shouldn't go and resolve. So I think that's something that I use also in the organization, where we create a platform, we create a place where you can go and talk to anybody, and it's a flat structure, so there's nobody who's stopping you from talking to anybody. So I encourage people to talk to other team members, because it helps you in broadening your perspective about a lot of things. And coming from different cultures and all, it's important that you get to know each other. So I think giving that platform is my job, but beyond that, it's how the individual takes it. You cannot force, or you cannot have the same formula for everybody. It's different for different people. So you have to understand how the person wants to be, and based on that, you create that or give that kind of a platform to them.
Yeah, in a sense, you're giving a sense of agency, to the person. And I like that, because it takes away from the micromanaging a bit, which most employees really struggle with, and teams don't succeed with the micromanaging,
You got to keep it real, right, Sharon? At the end of the day, if I'm going to make it artificial and make it like a process where I have to talk to somebody, I'm not going to enjoy that. If I don't, then it'll be a bunch of small talks that will happen, and then it'll fizzle out. But if you want to really have deep conversations and deep bonds, then you have to let it be and come naturally. I think that's something I encourage.
Love that. All right. Can you share your approach to professional development and training within the marketing team?
So very honestly, when you hire the team leads, or when you hire people, I'm not a big fan, or I'm not somebody who believes in the organization creating an L&D program. Yes, it's important for certain roles and certain type of skill sets where you encourage them to, like, let's say in a coding or in an engineering department, you want them to upskill in a certain language because it helps your product. But if you look at the rest, right, learning and development is something that you should do every day. Like, you have to learn, you have to unlearn. It's a daily process for everybody, every human being out there, right? So I believe that learning and development should not be a specific role that there's a person called L&D manager who will say that, okay, these are the number of credits you have to finish this. Again, that's artificial. So when you're given a platform where the leads themselves are encouraging you to learn, and you should have certain frameworks where you tell them that, hey, for doing this better, you might want to take up this course, and then encouraging the teams to say that, okay, I have learned this and it has helped me. It should be a spiral effect, it should come from everybody else. I think giving them an option where if somebody wants to do a particular course, or if the lead says that, why don't you do this program, or the lead does the program for them, that's more healthier than stuffing it down your throat and saying that, okay, you have to do this program today.
I agree. And my next question is, what mistakes do you think young marketing team leads make that more experienced ones don't? I should probably take my notebook for this.
So one, I think from a personal capacity, I'll share this. One mistake that I have made in my career, or in my years of working with Telebu, is I've always felt that putting in more people at a problem or more money at a problem can solve a problem, but that's not the way it is. So when you're young, you're very like, okay, I will bring in this person and this person will solve my problem. But that person cannot really solve the problem. It may not always be the way, So not looking at the problem when you're in the problem is the most important thing, is what I've realized. So most marketers or most people, when we are in a problem, or when we are struggling in a let's say I want to get more leads, I'm so into that problem of how do I get more leads, that I will make mistakes. So give it some time, look at it from a different perspective, talk to other team members, you'll understand where you want to start. I think reverse engineering is something that we should do, which most of us do. We all look at a problem from a very problem situation.
Even thinking about it as from a personal standpoint, even not career-wise. If I have a
Yeah.
problem, I'm in that bubble. But then once you step
Yes.
out of it, or even when you look back at the problem, you're like, that did not require
Yeah.
how I handled
So
it.
yes,
Yeah,
yes.
because my mind was stuck on that. I get that. I get that. What are some challenges that marketing managers can expect in their quest of building successful marketing teams?
So today, because of access to a lot of courses and all, Sherlin, everybody is a great marketer. Everybody is a great, whatever roles they're playing, and which is not a wrong thing. But at the same time, it is when you're really in the journey you learn the most.
Yeah.
So I always tell people that when you start your journey, don't come with the baggage that I've learned from this particular thing or this is my past experience. Every situation, every organization is different, and every course that you've done may not really be the way it is. Yes, you learn the technicalities of it, but when you put things into practice, it may not be the same way.
Yeah.
So I myself have done so many courses because I do not come from a marketing background. And when I, initially when I did these courses and spent many hours with the team discussing that, hey, why don't we use this method or this platform or this tool and all. And then I realized that I'm just trying to create too many things and it's taking the attention away from what we really want to do step by step.
Mm-hmm.
So just because you've learned a bunch of things, do not try and implement everything. I think even in a team, you have to have a good mix of all kinds of people,
Yeah, I get that. It kind of made me think about imposter syndrome. Coming into
Yes.
a field where you don't have a degree and in today's standards, you have to have the degree, have to do the courses. What would you actually advise someone who is in that position? Maybe they've been put into the marketing department and they don't know anything about it. How should they navigate it and balance it, like you said?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So the way I look at it is, Sherlin, that when I was given, the option to take this up as a role, I realized that I didn't know anything, but I knew my customers, and that's actually something that most marketers don't do. Like talk to customers every day, talk to customers, or listen to their conversations and all of that.
Mm-hmm.
So I think being if you are in a team where you've never done marketing or you've never done this role before, just be with your salespeople, talk to the sales teams, talk to your customers. You will learn so much about it. You can tell the content team that, hey, this is how it should be. These are the voice of the customers. You can tell your, paid marketing team that these are the keywords that people are really talking.
Yeah.
So I think being very close to your customer will teach you marketing as well.
I love that because many people are focused on the books, but it's the actual experience on the ground that actually gives you the skill that you need. Yeah.
And never shy away from doing any groundwork. Like, even if it feels very small, do it because you're going to learn a lot out of it. Yeah. And I think that foundation will actually take you to a much higher place than the baggage.
Yes, I agree. Thank you for that. I actually wanted to ask if you could share with us an example of a challenge you faced in building a successful marketing team that felt almost impossible to solve, and how you overcame it.
Yeah. So I did face a few challenges. I'll be very honest. And so initially, when we started building the team, we were very focused in building the team in India because we were working from office, and this is pre-COVID, right? And again, we were very focused on getting people who knew their things. So hired people from all the big brands of the world, and we thought that okay, they knew everything, and you don't really focus on. So marketing, generally they say that you cannot measure marketing, right? Like in the sense tools and all now have evolved and we can measure, but otherwise you're like, okay, we've given so many number of leads, but you don't end there. That's not the end.
Yeah.
I think the biggest mistake that I have made is not closed on all the loops where initially it was a different department, like marketing. So you just do marketing and create a brand and, write a lot of content and do SEO and all.
Yeah.
But that's not just what we should look at. So over time, when I started training the team, started telling the team that, okay, you know what, we cannot just look at just the lead that we've given or the content that we've written. We need to understand that, is that content being consumed? What is the person thinking about that content? Whoever is reading, what is it bringing you back? When you send a content out, because I consume a lot of content, right? I'm like, I have Medium on my phone, and I'm always looking for articles there, and I like reading that. Yeah. So if I, as a consumer, have liked something, I would have shared it with 10 people. That's something that I give credit to the person who's written. Yeah. Saying like, okay, you've done a great job, because I have shared it as a consumer, I have shared it with 10 other people, which means I found it valuable. Yeah. So creating that value is most important, and not looking at it just as a brand, but real value that you could create for somebody. I think that is something that we missed in the beginning. Mm-hmm. We were only looking at all the elements that you should have in the team in terms of degrees and all, but we didn't look at it from a perspective that who is actually. You should care for your consumer. You should care for the person who's reading that content, mm-hmm. or reading that, watching that video, or whatever it is.
Yeah, I love that. I actually love that very much. Would you rather have a successful team that achieves its goals through rigorous efficiency and strict adherence to processes, or a highly innovative team that embraces experiments and frequently fails in the path to success, even if it means a less predictable outcome? Which one would you rather?
The second one.
The second one, yeah?
Yeah. Yes, I think experimenting is so important, because that is something you cannot know everything. Yeah. I wouldn't want to be a person who know it all. I'd want to be somebody who is like experimented it all.
Yes. And I feel like that's also how you learn, because for example, even in the social media team, you have to try everything. If you go into a space where you're being told just create the reels and the generic educational posts, you don't feel like you're learning anything, and you don't actually get the results, because even in the space, it's constantly evolving. So good choice. So the question is, in a world where marketing teams are often viewed as the architects pulling the strings on consumer desires behind the scenes, how can team leads ensure that their team strategies empower consumers by providing valuable information and choices rather than merely creating perceived needs?
Yeah, so in your experience, Sherlyn, what do you think when you read as a consumer, right, mm-hmm. of Telebu's, let's say, blogs or any kind of content that we produce? What do you think has been our biggest achievement so far? I'm flipping the question back to you.
I know. I did not know I was coming for an interview. And also, I'm a very biased consumer. So, because I create the content. Yeah, but I would say, trying not to be biased, but very, very highly biased. I love that the content is not just, I'm selling you this. I'm selling you Telebu Social today. I'm selling you SMS Country. No. Even if you visit the blog, you'll see comparison blogs. Not just about Telebu Social or Telebu or, there's all kinds of content. And I feel like even from the perspective of someone who creates that content, they get a lot of knowledge. And they know even more about the product because of all the other kinds of products they have to interact with while creating the content.
True.
Yes.
So I believe that nobody likes to be sold.
No.
Yeah. People want to have the power to buy by themselves, even though you can only influence their decision, but at the end of the day, the decision is theirs.
Yeah.
So I feel that the way the leads or the strategies that we've developed with our leads is that you have to always make sure that your consumer, even though they're not going to buy from you today, should always remember you that, hey, these are the experts in this industry or in this kind of, product. So I want to go back to them to see what they have told. No, what I was saying was that, the culture of the organization has also been in such a way that we don't like selling. We don't do hard sell. We always take a very consultant approach where we, tell them that, hey, this is what we are good at. I don't know about what others do. I don't care about what others do, but this is what I am here for.
Yeah.
And there are a lot of times, where I'll give you an example of a few customers who've come to us. They've bought from some other, players or competitors in our industry, and they've come to us to help them for a specific thing. So let's say in India, there's something called a DLT, and they've come to say that, our existing vendors don't help us with it. Can you help us? So initially, the sales team was like, hey, they're not going to buy from us because they've already bought from somebody else. So should we help? And then I'm like, what wrong is, there's nothing wrong in helping somebody. And if you are skilled, then I think it is good to help somebody. And it's okay. It's, I don't know if you want to call it the karma or whatever. You do good and good will come back to you. So I think that's the approach we should take, right? That you
absolutely
do whatever you can in order to help somebody.
Yeah.
Either, marketing or selling or building a product or building a team.
Yeah. Love that.
Yeah.
Now I have quick fire questions just to wind up, because those are very heavy topics. Just 5 of them. And then we'll be done. All right. Would you rather only use social media for all your marketing efforts or never use social media again for any campaign?
Oh my God, that's a tough one.
Yeah.
So, see, I'm a big fan of social media, because I consume a lot of social media content. But, I believe that different industries have different approaches, right? So if you look at my target audience, they might not consume the kind of product content or the product understanding that we have. Mm-hmm. They might not necessarily want to consume it in, an Instagram or a Facebook or in those channels maybe. But I wouldn't say either or, because I think social media is very important again. It's a soft reminder to somebody that, there's something happening, there's some content which is there. So even though I might not get much out of social media campaigns that I do today, I know that I have a call that happens in the consumer's mind. So I wouldn't do an either or, but I would do a good balance.
Good balance. Though this is either or. Gun to your head. But I get it. Social media is very important. Speaking as an expert. Yeah. If you could only choose one, would you rather attend all meetings via virtual reality or always communicate through handwritten letters? So VR.
No, I like meeting people. I love meeting people. So I think that builds a very strong bond. Mm-hmm. So I think I like people, but letters also have such a special place. But if I have to do an either or, I think I like virtual meetings.
People, all right. Me too. Would you rather have an unlimited budget for a single marketing campaign of your choice, or a modest budget for an unlimited number of campaigns? So is it one?
A modest budget.
A modest one. You played very safe. I love that.
Because unlimited budget for one campaign,
just one.
It gives me no experiment.
Yes.
So, experimenting is very important.
It's very important. We said that earlier. Would you rather fight one horse-sized duck or 100 duck-sized horses in a hypothetical marketing challenge? One horse-sized duck or 100 duck-sized horses. So tiny horses. And it's a marketing challenge.
100 duck-sized horses.
Oh, really? Just running around.
Because one, it's not about running around, but I think you can focus, even in those 100, you can focus very well on a few, which will really give you the kind of results. But when I'm looking at one big thing, it's overwhelming, not just for me, but also for the entire team, because then you all focus on that, and there's so much chaos happening around because there are different ideas, there are different strategies, and you don't know which one is going to work. I think, it
goes back to experimenting, kinda, the illusion of numbers. Well, numbers are great. Last one. If you had to choose, would you rather work with marketing tools and technologies from the 1980s or use the current tools we have but in 20 years in the future? Would you rather use these ones or the 1980 ones now?
But what tools did we have in 1980?
I don't know. You should tell me. I think, what did we have? I guess billboards and posters and...
I even do billboards.
They didn't have...
I think we're so used to listening or talking on phone while driving, and even like watching something on Instagram while driving, that there is nobody who's going to focus on the billboards, or nobody's listening to radio, or nobody's like, I wouldn't say nobody's listening, but
we're in the podcast.
The size is small, yeah.
Actually, what was happening in the 80s? I have no idea.
I think they were just some TV ads or some newspaper ads and something like that.
Yeah, that wouldn't work 20 years in the future, no. But anyway, thank you so much, Nisha. This has been a very candid and amazing discussion. So glad you made the time.
Thank you so much.
Thank you for your insights. Oh, we've learned so much, I'm sure. Anything else you'd like to add, perhaps?
Just enjoy whatever you're doing. So I think that's something that we should all do. Mm-hmm. Enjoy what you're doing. Otherwise, don't do it, because it's a waste of our years on earth.
Yeah, absolutely. And we only have one run at this, right?
Yes.
All right, Nisha. Thank you. And bye.
Thank you so much. Bye.